So welcome to this week's Building Peace During the Pandemic. We're very happy to have Violette Kakyomya, who's the resident coordinator of the United Nations system in Chad. And we are this week going to speak, of course, about Chad, but also about the peace building dynamics with the region, with the bordering countries around Chad. So Violette, let me start by asking you how the pandemic is affecting yours, the government's, the UN country teams' efforts at building peace in Chad.
The biggest impact really is on security, and as you know, that affects peace building in a huge way. In March this year, we had the deadliest Boko Haram attack in a very long time in Chad, which killed almost 100 government soldiers and injured so many. And that attack, followed by the response, has led to many more displaced people. Another big impact is on livelihoods. As you know, Chad is an economy that is to a big extent reliant on oil, and the price has fallen with the COVID-19 pandemic. And also the measures that were put in place, Chad is landlocked, so it has affected livelihoods.
How has the pandemic made more difficult or affected the United Nations' own capacity to support the country in its peace-building efforts?
We are now looking at big numbers of displaced populations. Just out of the operations in March, the attacks and the response from the national authorities, we have had 20,000 more displaced people. A lot more young people are now exposed because their livelihoods are impacted. The small businesses that they used to run across the border are not there anymore because the borders are closed. So this puts them much more at risk of being recruited by these groups. But as I am saying, we are adjusting, we are working together with the authorities and all stakeholders to make sure that we move our targets, we adjust our programs accordingly.
And is there, speaking about counterparts, Violette, are there particular organizations or leaders that you've been able to work with in the past few months that you feel are doing particularly interesting work and that you would like to share with us?
In the Niger-Chad border areas, we had about 200 groups which are called listening groups. These groups that were already there working on mediation, working on listening to communities on the factors of peace building and what we need to do better, have very successfully incorporated COVID prevention activities. In the lake area where we have had these incidences of conflict, we also have women groups and youth groups that have also incorporated these COVID prevention activities very, very well in their activities. So this has had a tremendous impact, I should say, because these are the groups that are already working at the grassroots directly with the population, and they were quickly able to incorporate these COVID prevention activities, and I think that has worked very well. So we are grateful for this support.
And I understand, Violette, that in Chad, the mobilization of civil society in response to the pandemic to circulate public information about how to protect yourself has been quite significant. There was a large mobilization of civil society to sensitize the population. And I guess this is also a positive aspect or a silver lining of the pandemic, to see civil society mobilizing and organizing in such a way.
Civil society has worked very well with local authorities and with us, and has been really mobilized to work on the COVID-19 pandemic. What was also very successful is that despite all the measures that were put in place by government and reinforced by local authorities, we were able to work with the government of Chad to have special laissez-passer for humanitarian actors, for peace building organizations, to be able to continue to move so that we can continue to deliver these life-saving services and goods to the population. So I should say, and I congratulate the authorities here for having worked very well on this and made sure really that these services continued. So yes, I confirm that that worked well.
Thank you so much, Violette, for speaking with us today, and our very best for the rest and for the continuation of the work. Thank you so much.